Alright, hello and welcome again to Why Would You Use? I have already recorded this episode, but my mic wasn't on, so this episode's gonna be a little bit weird, and I'm gonna try something new in the test. But before that, the weapon that we're testing is showing why you would use, showing off, is the Dragon Nikana. I realized that I had not done any melee weapon since the Taipido, which is like number 3 of the Why Would You Use series, and it's been like 7 or 8 since that, and that's too many. Melee weapons don't get a lot of shine, as there are relatively few good ones compared to how many bad ones there are, and this happens to be one of the really good ones that I've used quite extensively. So let's take a look at the build or builds. This is the build that I'm using in the test, and it is just generally really good. This is the build I use whenever I'm Excalibur using Exalted Blade as well. It performs really great, and just in general, just for general use, is a great build. The one thing that I think is kind of a point of preference, but also I have reasons for choosing this over other things, is my stance. So Blind Justice is my preferred Nikana stance for a wide variety of reasons. And also, if you're wondering where to get it, it drops from Stalker. You probably have like 10 or 12 of them from the time Stalker didn't drop the bow you need. So you'll probably have some of these. And then the other stances are Decisive Judgment and Tranquil Cleave. Now, Decisive Judgment I think is probably the worst one out of this bunch. The double-handed strikes originally seemed like it was something that was going to appeal to me like greatly, but its moveset I feel like is just kind of in comparison to Blind Justice. And then Tranquil Cleave I think is a very close comparison against Blind Justice, but I prefer Blind Justice more because of its movesets and the ease of use of the combos, although that could just be how much I've used them. There's a easy block combo, and then a really intuitive pause combo in Blind Justice, which you don't see almost on any weapon, so it's really strange and works actually really well. So that's kind of that's the build. There is one thing though, if you're going to use this on Valkyr, a good build for Valkyr stuff, or at least a decent one, there are a few things I would probably change. This build is pretty good for Valkyr. There's some other things that I would tweak, as I don't usually use this for Valkyr, but if you don't need healing, then this is totally fine. More of a channeling thing that you'd be doing here. You'd be channeling a lot more, pretty much constantly. Really good with Trinity. Trinity specifically does pretty damn good with this build, because she can just give herself energy, and then you can kind of just take out focus energy and stuff and just kind of forego all efficiency and just kind of go nuts. And then having Prime Reach is amazing at that point. For this build, while Prime Reach is good, I didn't feel that it was better than Fury. And when we get Prime Fury, maybe, that's going to be real damn good in this weapon. So expect that to be a change if that ever comes out. But overall, the Dragon Nikana is a really fun weapon that is just really good. And it's used a lot differently than the Taipido. But we're going to talk about that more during the test. And you'll kind of see whenever we swap over. Alright, so I'm just going to start commenting over what I'm playing in this video specifically. If you guys end up liking it, that's cool, and let me know. But I'm just setting up the enemies here. Basics are basic. I make a note slightly before this that I cut out that, like the Taipido, and with all melee weapons, you kind of need to be more careful than you need to be with regular guns and stuff against enemies. That's why at the beginning here, I'm purposefully waiting over here a little while to break up the groups a little bit and make it more vulnerable to guerrilla tactics, is what I'm going to say. Because there's a lot of hit and run, and there's a lot of specific targets that I need to take out before I handle the bombards and such. So these weaker enemies, these unarmored opponents, they're going to go down pretty quickly as I run around the map and search for the Ancients. And the Ancients are the most dangerous enemy whenever you are in melee. Not that they themselves are particularly dangerous, but if they are behind an enemy that you're meleeing, they're going to be a real fucking problem for you, and it's going to be a bad time. But just in general, staying on the move and going fast and not getting pinned down or cornered is really, really important. And there are a couple times during this video that I almost get into those situations, or I get bullshit knocked down via some weird glitchiness. That happens just a little bit, but a lot of it is like you just saw there with me annihilating a unit that went out on its own and then got chopped into a million pieces. And a lot of this is a circular motion around the map, picking my targets. And also, maybe for a little bit of this video, I wasn't sure exactly where the Ancient was. And I fucked that up real bad. That was a solid miss. But of course, finished him off. That little drone's going to be pretty annoying, but eventually he comes down to ground level where I can mess him up. And I actually don't notice that pulse. I do not remember noticing that pulse from the middle to kill the healer. I think I was explaining something there. Oh, heavy gunners. And the Osprey. Can't engage an Osprey and a heavy gunner at the same time. That's a real bad idea. However, that Corpus Crewman, not a big deal. There's actually a couple of kind of hilarious things that happen here. Oh, this dash slashing. That dash slash, like I did there, that plus channeling is the solid best way to rejuvenate your health without getting murdered. Here's the Osprey. Murdering him real good. And just kind of heading around the map. And there I was going to channel to get my health back, but I ended up picking up a health orb, which gets me my stuff back quite well. Cleaning up all of these tiny mobs is really important, and it's kind of interesting. A lot of there's the throw in one of my combos. I'm not sure if that's a result of the build or a result of the combo itself, but some of the combos seem to throw like in a straight line back or sometimes up whenever you use them with the Blind Justice stance, and it's A, really funny, and B, really effective, so I will not complain about it. More of the Grenier getting myrtleized. Yeah, and the real tactics of this video kind of don't take into a lot out until after I kill this Ancient and then get rid of a lot of like the annoying shotgun ads like that guy. And I see the Ancient there, but he's too surrounded by bombards and such. But now he's out on his own. Pretty easy to eliminate, although I had some weird issues with my fingers not listening to me. Also, it's kind of interesting, like the reason that I include bombards in this is because they kind of make you think more. The moment you introduce two bombards into a situation, them firing those rockets that will not miss unless you give them a reason not to, is actually partially, it kind of sucks. But on the other hand, it makes me think more about it. Oh, there's the throw. That's one of the throws of the combo. And also the beginning part of that dash, it's great for closing distance. Like it's good to the point. Oh, I'm explaining something here, like I am now as it happens. It's good to the point where it's a combo that actually works, because you have like the two slashes, which can just be executed really fast on their own, and then the pause, where you could say walk around a corner and then charge into a guy and mess him up real good with the end of that combo, which is very strong. And then other than that, just the basic combo. The hold block combo is really good with this weapon. Lots of hits. Very, very fast. Plus the slam at the end, which is all quite effective. Here we're getting into the Ancients are dead, so I'm trying to figure out the plan of attack and get rid of the rest of these shotgun guys. It takes some damage here, but I believe I steal it back with a little, a nice little dash there, and a knockdown. I don't really go for any more extra damage though, because those units are too close together. This guy's out by himself, so he's going to get the thunder and the juice. He gets bounced back over here, which I don't notice immediately. I actually assumed he went off the map, I think. But this guy just did not want to leave, so he needed to get finished. And we've got these guys skulking around. They actually, whenever there's not a lot of them, they lose track of you pretty fast. As in, you can kind of, like, as long as they can't see you, you can juke heavy units quite a bit more than you can juke regular units who will just kind of run at you. And then, obviously, caught out on his own, he gets myrtleized pretty quickly without the heavy gunner there to back him up. And I think he dies from the slash proc there. He might have survived that. I'm pretty sure he dies from the slash proc there. The finishing slash proc is very, very strong, and just finisher damage in general. This is the bullshit. That shit. That explosion should not have happened. Her fist never hit the ground. So, no. That's one of the things that's actually holding back melee, is that some of the like hard knockdowns and stuff aren't very interruptible. 3, 2, 1. Slam dunk. The best. Anyway. Sorry. I really like to throw sometimes. I use this a lot on Ceres, and just kind of tossing people over like the edge of the rafters and shit that's outside there is super fun. And just in general, this weapon is super fun. I'm making sure that all the enemies are dead here, because whenever you're using melee and you're trying to not use powers and only use melee, it's actually a little bit stressful. In a good way, where it's stressful to the point where you really don't want to fuck it up, which is really useful for me. And it just is really fun to do, and it's kind of a nice challenge to put yourself into. At the way higher levels, it becomes no fun, but around here, it becomes a nice little challenge, and I like it a lot, and it's kind of where Ceres sits for the most part. I'm showing off the combos here at the end of the video. But I think I'm going to wrap up the commentary and just let you see the combos and how they play out. So, thank you for watching, and if you like this over the top of the video commentary, which is really weird for me and I don't have practice in, let me know, and I might try and do it more. I feel like it's a little more analytical now that I've actually done it. If it's useful to people, then that's what these videos are supposed to be. But that's pretty much why would you use the Dragon Nikana. It's a really good weapon with a lot of really good movesets, especially with Blind Justice. And just overall, it's a great weapon. So, let me know, and I'm trying to keep this balanced with more melee weapons, so I would prefer your melee weapon suggestions for what you want to see. But let me know what weapons you guys want to see coming up next, because it actually helps me pick what weapon a lot. I think it was like while I was like going through the melee weapons, just looking through to see which one I wanted to do, because I knew I wanted to do a melee weapon to kind of even out the balance. It's very hard to pick, but I settled on the Dragon Nikana. I think that was a good choice. So that is why would you use, and I'll see you tomorrow.